horror.
Horror.
I'd like horror.
I love horror movies.
I love horror. I think whether it's on TV or film, I can't get enough of it.
I do like horror quite a bit. I think that it's fun and I think that it's interesting. I get very into it.
I always wanted to do something in horror, so when we were working on the first episode of American Horror Story, I loved writing it so much, and lo and behold, here we are 2 years later.
I think now in film, we went through the Japanese remake, the manga horror films, and now we're sort of into sort of young adult novel. It's all this post-apocalyptic world and the Hunger Games, and it'll be interesting to see the next tide.
Movies are the one place where nothing should be taboo. Most of the time when I've finished a film, I feel like I didn't push anything further enough. I would love to push everything further. I mean, why not?
I loved horror movies growing up. Loved. I remember watching Friday the 13th Part 2 over and over and watching it on a constant loop.
I was supposed to be asleep in my mom's bed and she was watching Silence of the Lambs. And I remember waking up and I saw the part when he like did this, you know?
The Wizard of Oz. I don't know how old I was. It was before I was in kindergarten or something like that. When the witch first appears and the flying monkeys, didn't like it. I mean, everything about that movie is pretty weird. Just, you know, the munchkins, everything about it's kind of creepy and strange. Pretty f***ed up movie for little kids.
The first movie I ever saw was Wizard of Oz, and I was quite terrified at the time. I was very convinced it was a horror movie, but as I grew up, I learned it wasn't a horror movie, and it was probably The Shining, to be quite honest.
The scariest thing I ever saw was me at 5:30 in the morning in the mirror. Just kidding.
Going to see Psycho when I was 12 years old with my parents. I can't believe they let me see that movie. And that shower scene was the scariest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
I would say The Innocents. I would say The Changeling.
The haunted house sequence at the beginning of Beloved. It's pretty nerve-wracking.
The vomit scene from The Exorcist.
I thought The Exorcist was completely the scariest. When her face and all that stuff that happened in The Exorcist to me was just gross, but I was also a child at the time.
When I was 7, I snuck into The Exorcist. So I was far too young to see that movie. That was freaky.
It's got to be a combination of The Exorcist and Nightmare on Elm Street, the first movie. I don't even want to talk about it. Can we not talk about it? Cut.
Human Centipede is disgusting. I mean, I don't think you need to say more than just that, just the Human Centipede.
I saw it on Thanksgiving. Somebody threw it on at 2 o'clock in the morning after like 15 bottles of wine.